Hello, I'm Kyle Lance. This is my channel, The Sports Guy, and today I'm going to be starting a new thing. I'm going to be starting a the Today in Sports. So that may not be every day. I mean, there'll be some days where I take off, some days where I just do this and that. But I will break down the big stories from the previous day and today's early morning. Last night was the NBA draft. We'll break that down today. I will break down some more of the NFL lockout. uh, some Major League Baseball, and some Major League Baseball, and then I'll make another video today, and I'm gonna do it. On my time, it's gonna be part of my college football preview. Today, I would preview the best conference in America, the SEC. So, the NBA draft last night, Cavaliers took Kyrie Irving #1 overall, trying to replace LeBron James. Um, I think that's a solid pick. They needed a point guard. Baron Davis can help off the bench, and I mean, I don't know if he's going to start there to start with, but I mean, I think it's a good pick. Derek Williams went 2 overall to Minnesota. I think that was a solid pick as well. I think he could be a franchise player down the road for them in the future. But I'm going to describe my top 5 and what I think were the best picks, and then the top 5 bust potential picks. Um, Kyrie Irving that is my first. I think he's going to be a great player. He's got great potential, and he only played 12 games, and he was still the #1 overall pick in the draft, which is amazing in my book. Derek Williams is also on that list of guys that I think will succeed in the NBA. I think he could be a franchise player for the Timberwolves 5, 10 years down the road in Minnesota. My third player that I think has a lot of potential is center Enes Kanter from Kentucky. I think he can, with already a loaded Jazz front court of Al Jefferson, Paul Millsap, and just other players. And I just think it's deep there. I think Kanter can learn from the best there. Like Mehmet Okur has been there for a long time. He's a true post threat. He can help out Enes down there. I think that's good. Fourth pick, another Jazz pick, Alec Burks out of Colorado. He is explosive. He is a great offensive player, and he can light up the scoreboard on any given night. And it's just his defense that needs tone, but that's just work in the NBA. His defense is a lot better than some other players in the draft. And my fifth player that I think will succeed in the NBA is an international player, Jan Beasley. He went 6th overall to the Wizards, and he's 6'11", and he can jump out of the gym. He's got more athletic skills than most men that size, and he's already loaded to a front court with Andre Blatche, JaVale McGee, and already entered into a system with John Wall, Nick Young, now Shelvin Mack out of last night, and Chris Singleton, I believe. But that'll be a good team there. My top 5 bust potentials now. #1, Donatas Motiejunas. He was drafted late in the first round. I don't think he's very good. I mean, international guys, they have so much prowess, but an example of a guy that had so much prowess but then didn't do very well in the NBA is Darko Milicic. Another guy that I think is going to be borderline, could be bust, Jimmer Fredette. He can score with the best. I'm not going to argue that. He can score, and I think he'll be coming in the game and lining up the scoreboards on any given night. But will he play defense? I think he can. I think he will. It's just to see how he adjusts, and I guess we'll all find out together. Third, Bismack Biyombo out of the Congo. I don't know. I've seen a lot of this guy actually. He's got some good post moves, but I don't know if he needs to get a little bit stronger in the NBA. I mean, we'll see with him as his rights were traded to Charlotte and Sacramento gets Jimmer. My fourth guy that I think could be a bust in the NBA is, as much as I hate to say it, Jawan Johnson. He's very slim. I think he needs to get a lot bigger. Jawan Johnson got traded to Boston after getting drafted by New Jersey. He can get a little bit stronger, and then he can be taken out of this category. But for now, I really don't know what he can do in terms of that a type of player like him. And my fifth and final player that I think could be a bust is there's a lot. There wasn't that very many that can be busts, but Marshawn Brooks is one of them. Marshawn Brooks, he's a proven scorer. Scored 52 last year against Notre Dame, but he needs to strengthen up. He needs to get better on defense. And once he does that, maybe he can be a better player in the NBA. But I mean, he's got a wingspan out of the gym. So I mean, we'll find out about him. But my Kentucky guys did get picked last night. Brandon and I went 8th overall to the Detroit Pistons. Enes Kanter 3rd overall to the Jazz, which I already alluded to earlier. Josh Harrelson, 2nd round, got drafted by the Hornets, 45th overall, traded to the Knicks. And DeAndre Liggins taken by the Magic at 53. Now moving on to the lockout. Day 100 was yesterday, and today is day 101 of the NFL lockout. But NFLPA owner DeMaurice Smith and Roger Goodell said yesterday, and here's the quote from DeMaurice Smith: "The fans are frustrated. Everybody's frustrated, but we're going in the right direction so we can have football next year." And Roger Goodell agreed with him on that. And I just hope we get this resolved, because the NFL is honestly my second favorite sport. Football is just my second favorite sport behind basketball. I just think I just love watching the NFL every year, seeing what teams do pick up, and how my Cowboys do every year, how the Falcons do, because I'm in Atlanta. I live close to Atlanta. But I mean, if the NFL locks out, they're going to lose a ton of money, and it's just I don't know why this is going on, but I mean, it's just stupid and childish, and I think it should resolve ASAP, because the fans want it, everybody wants it, and look at the memories we'll lose from this season if we don't have football. If you don't have football, then you don't have those memories that could possibly happen next season, which surprises me. Moving on to the MLB. Recently, the Red Sox have been on a tear. The Brewers have been on a tear, and this is interleague play here. But I think the teams that are steadily improving, Yankees are getting up. Yankees are starting to play a lot better ball as the Yankees. Indians have fallen off, and now they're steadily starting to play better. Giants are starting to play better. Just some interleague play games today. A lot of games, but the interleague play is one of my favorite deals. And I'm just looking at the games for today, making picks for today's games in the interleague. I know I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan. They play the Baltimore Orioles tonight. Reds have been slumping as of late. They got to pick it up, or something. They just got to, I think, pick it up a little bit. I'm gonna pick Cincinnati over Baltimore in this series. I think Baltimore started off hot and has fallen off a lot. Cincinnati needs to pick it up in their offense, and they got some good pitchers going this weekend, so I got them in that series. Arizona goes to Detroit. I got Detroit in that series, even though Arizona's playing incredible ball. I think Detroit will win that series. New York beats Colorado. Philadelphia beats Oakland. Boston beats Pittsburgh. Texas beats New York Mets. Tampa Bay beats Houston. Washington and Chicago. That's a toss-up for me, but I'm going to go with Washington. Even though Jim Riggleman resigned, that's another one I think I'm going to get to in a minute. Kansas City over Chicago. Minnesota over Milwaukee. St. Louis over Toronto. Atlanta over San Diego. The Dodgers over the Angels in the Battle of LA. Florida over Seattle. And San Francisco over Cleveland. But getting into that Jim Riggleman. The manager of the Nationals. The Nationals won in a walk-off yesterday over the Mariners, and that put them a game over 500 for the first time since 2005, when they were almost the Expos. I think they still may have been the Expos. But immediately after the game, Riggleman asked the owner if they were going to pick up his option for the next season, and they said no. Riggleman resigned effective immediately, and that's just one of the more puzzling resignations in all of sports. But I mean, if they're not going to pick up it'll be just to see how the Nationals like them, and I mean, it'll just be interesting to see if the Nationals, how they rebound from this weekend. Later today, I will have my SEC preview show. I will break down all 12 teams, every single one, and I will make my picks 6 through 1 in each division, the SEC championship game, and if I think they will win a 6th straight national championship. That is all for now. Signing off. See you.